Welcome to the Indie KidLit podcast. Join Marti Dumas and Elena Paige on their quest to help children's and middle grade authors find the right audience and sell more books. Hi, and welcome back to the Indie KidLit podcast. I'm Marti Dumas.
And I'm Elena Paige.
And we are joined here today with a really wonderful guest, Justin Sloan. Justin Sloan writes fantasy stories, including the Reclaiming Honor series, the Modern Necromancy series, and video games, including Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, Michonne, and the Minecraft Story Mode ones. His KidLit titles include Bringer of Light trilogy, which are the Ali Strom books, and the Teddy Defenders series. And he's graciously agreed to join us today to let us pick his brain about selling abroad, a topic that Elena and I are both most eager to learn about. But hopefully you won't mind giving us a little bit of background info about yourself, Justin. Justin, can you hear us out there?
Oh, yeah, I froze up on you guys. Sorry about that.
You did. Technology.
Yeah. So sorry. Yes, welcome. Hi, all that stuff. Nice to meet you guys. And thanks for having me on the show.
That's great. Do you mind telling us a little bit about how you got into writing?
Sure. So I started in 2010. People have heard my spiel on podcasts before. Will be familiar with that. Where basically it was Snowmageddon. I was single and I was sitting around going, okay, what am I going to do with all this free time? And I was loving the Game of Thrones books, lots of other books at the same time, Harry Potter and whatnot. And I was thinking, well, I'm waiting for another good book to read. I can't find one. I kept trying. So how about I write one? And yeah. And at the time I was thinking maybe write a book before I'm 50, I'll just write a book. Maybe when I'm 50, I'll finish it. I wasn't familiar with this whole like indie publishing craze where you just write a book a month. I was just, checking it out. But within like 3 months, I had 120,000 or so words done, and I was loving it. And I was like, this is the best thing in the world. I love writing. I'm going to be a writer. And by that, I didn't mean like full time or anything at that time in my life. I was just thinking, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to write books. I'm going to write screenplays. I didn't think I was going to write video games at the time. That came later. And then I wrote that fantasy series, the False Redemption books. And then I wrote shortly after that, the books that would go on to become Ali Strom, which were quite different to begin with.
And how did you end up writing something that was so different?
Those two, you mean the fantasy versus the Ali Strom ones?
Yes.
Yeah, and then of course the other ones that came along, like the teddy bear ones.
The teddy bear ones, and yes, I'd love to hear how that came about.
Yeah, well, so the first ones I wrote were more. It kind of came about because my grandma kept saying, "Hey, I want a journal of your time in the military." She wanted me to write like a diary, and so I tried once, and I said, "That's not me. This is not my thing." So then I sat back and I was taking an international relations program and I was taking a class about the Peloponnesian War, and I was loving it. And I was, Game of Thrones is based on the Wars of the Roses. So I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. Maybe I write a fantasy book kind of based in ancient Greece. I love mythology. I'd gone to a Waldorf schools when I was younger. So the whole mythology thing was part of my repertoire. And I love the Peloponnesian War and I love fantasy. So that's where that started. And then I was sitting around, I was like, well, that was a lot of fun, but it's pretty dark at places. Like this isn't the audience that I always necessarily want to connect with. I love the Disney world, Disneyland, Disney movies, all that stuff. I love all of it. I want to have kids someday. I want to be able to connect with my kids on the stories that I'm writing. And Harry Potter, a big obsession for everybody alive. If not, I don't understand you. We're not compatible. And so, yeah, I think I was visiting my friend in San Francisco at the time. I lived in DC, and I was visiting him, and the idea for the Ali Strom books popped into my head. And I was like, it's similar enough to Harry Potter that it's different, and then I could still write it and feel like it was writing my unique story. And so I think it wasn't like any cognizant, this is going to be my brand, like fantasy and Ali Strom stuff. It was more just at the time of writing what I love and kind of thinking that at some point in my life, I'd love it if I could work at Disney or Pixar. So what would I want to write that could kind of set me up for that? And that's more along the lines of where the teddy bear story came from. And Back by Sunrise was this other one about a girl who turns into a bird as a way of dealing with her grief from losing her father and stuff. And that was an obsession with the Land Before Time movie. And I thought, I want to do a modern Land Before Time. My brother growing up, that was like his favorite movie of all time. He had lost his parents. He's actually my adopted brother, my cousin. And so like that kind of shared a love of that movie and like the deep meaning that it held for him, even though it's depressing as hell, made me kind of delve into these other stories that pretty much all of them on some level deal with dark, deep matters, even if it's in a very jovial, rainbows and sunshine, lollipops way of telling it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. There's so much in there that I kind of connect it with, including be able to like thinking forward about where you want your career to be, right? Like you're thinking, I know that I want to be able to do something or have the door open to be able to do something like write for Disney or work in that area. So like, what can I do now that would help open up that pathway? That's very cool and very advanced marketing stuff. That was almost ninja level tips that was going on there.
Yeah,
I cut you off a little bit.
Smart. It's always smart to like, I could have a whiteboard or something, or they give me like a notebook where I kind of just write where my career could be in 8 years from now or so, you know? So right now I'm on a Pixar year plan. I think now is about the 7-year plan because a year has gone by since I wrote it on the wall. And it's, you know, if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to freak out. It's not like it's the end of the world. I'm going to be all depressed, but it's just like, that'd be cool. And I like those kind of goals, you know? There's milestones and goals that I have to achieve and that I can achieve because they're within my abilities to do so. But then there's also those kind of goals that are like, well, it's not totally my ability to make it happen, but I can set everything up right to where if the right door opportunities came knocking on the doors, you know, then I could easily open those doors.
Justin, so I've noticed you write like adult books as well, and they're still under the Justin Sloan brand name. Yeah, we're going to call
not
you a
adult
brand
like
name.
sexual, but yeah.
No, but adult, yeah, exactly. No, not adult like sexual, because you would have a different pen name for that. But was that was it for you to keep, you know, some people will take a different pen name and try to split their kids' books versus their adult books. If for example Pixar knocked tomorrow, would you like stick with the sort of more children's stuff? Does Pixar do adult stuff? Not really.
Not really.
They do. They're the kids.
The thing with Pixar is all their movies are for kids that can be enjoyed by adults.
Right. Perfect.
So yeah,
is that your real passion? Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to write the children's stuff. The problem with self-publishing is it's very hard, you know, as you probably know, to make as much money on the children's stuff and middle grade stuff as you can on stuff like my Reclaiming Honor series with Michael Anderle. Those ones way outperform the children's stuff. Aside from some recent things that have happened with like a French publisher that we can get into, which is awesome. But yeah, as far as that question, I do have another couple books under a pen name, which is just J.M. Sloan. So not super different, but enough to make it different because that's a literary book. The main one is called Mohira, and it's about a woman from Central Asia living in America after divorce and all this stuff. So super different content from what I'm normally writing. But all these ones that I'm writing under my normal name, Justin Sloan, are very urban fantasy, maybe sci-fi, but they all have that same kind of supernatural, super magical element to them. And so when I was debating that very topic, I was thinking, well, it'd be a lot of fun if people can start reading my books as kids and just keep reading them. And they don't have to go figure out who is this pen name or whatever, but they could just keep going. And I keep most of my books pretty clean. The ones I'm doing with Michael Anderle, his books have a lot of swearing. So to in between our two audiences, mine have some swearing. Those books only, but all my other books, like I'd be very surprised if you found a swear word in anything that just has my name on it. So, but yeah, I think I'm going to continue down this route. If I go full time at some point as a writer, what I'd like to do is like 2 books for them, 1 book for me, meaning 2 books that are like more marketable, and then just like one whatever the hell I want to write. And with kids books, you could do like 30,000 words. So it might not take that long, especially if you're a full-time author. It might take like a week, you know, so you could do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Have you done any experimenting besides the J.M. Sloan things? Have you done any experimenting with using a pen name for your KidLit stuff?
No. Oh, well, I mean, unless you count the Jesse Nethermind stuff. Forgot about that.
Oh, okay. Unless we count a thing that exists. Yeah, let's count the thing that exists.
Yeah, but it wasn't for that reasons. So
Okay.
that's my Minecraft series, unofficial Minecraft books that I started with P.T. Hilton. And so those ones would go under the combined name of Jesse Nethermind. We started off that way because we weren't sure. We wanted to kind of share a name and we weren't trying to approach it. But recently I've put my name on there also. And there were various reasons for that, but they weren't really marketing reasons. So those books are going okay. We got a book club on one of them, which was cool. And those are the ones that a French publisher under Hachette, if that's how you say that, bought the rights to. So they're going to be published. They did a print run of 4,000 each of 3 books, so 12,000 total. And that's going to be in multiple French-speaking countries. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay, so wait, now you can back it up. Like, back it up and tell us that story from the beginning.
Back up.
Sounds like me.
Yeah. So,
and how you did it. And how.
And on top of
Don't
that,
leave out the how.
There's another series that's doing something similar in Turkey, and that's the Ali Strom books. So a Turkish publisher bought those. I forget what kind of print run they're doing on those, but they bought the rights to all 3 in that case, and then the other one was the first 3 out of 4. So interesting. So backing up.
Awesome.
How did that happen? I'm not really sure, but here's what I'll guess to make. Basically, I don't.
Ooh. On the how
have you frozen?
We lost
I know
him.
exactly.
Come
We're
back.
like, it's like a bad movie where it's like the key, the most important key in the universe is in the.
Oh my God, this is bad.
Breathe.
Oh,
There
you're
we
back.
go. We got you back.
Okay, where did I lose you? Babble Cube? Did I mention Babble Cube yet?
No, you just started from the beginning.
No,
Okay.
start again.
Yes. So here's how I think it all happened. I've been using Babble Cube, which is a website. A lot of people say it's not that great because, it doesn't result in a lot of sales. Basically, it's a website where translators can connect with authors. I'm just going to talk as long as your head's moving. I assume my screen hasn't frozen.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you do is you put your book up there and you say, hey, if anybody wants to translate this into these languages, feel free to submit like an audition, kind of like how ACX works for audiobooks. For people who don't know what those are, so anyway, I've done a few.
They shouldn't be listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've done a few books on Babble Cube from my Teddy Bear series. I think a little bit of Ali Strom and some other ones. And so why I bring that up is I think even though there's like no sales there, not many, that might have been how these foreign publishers found me. They saw, oh, look, these books look cool. And, oh, I'm seeing them show up in these countries. Maybe I should see if he's interested also. So the Turkish company found me first. They emailed me out of nowhere. I was kind of worried. Just Turkey's not one of like the main countries. You're not really sure if there could be some kind of scam going on there. I emailed groups and a lot of people were like, don't do it. It's probably a scam. And so then I was like, oh, okay. I don't even know if I was worried until I heard people telling me that. Then they got that worry seeded in me, right? But then I sat back and I was like, well, how could it really be a scam? Like, I give them my bank info as long as I check with my bank, and I have no money anyway. So what are they going to take from me, right? So, so I went ahead and signed that, and like I said, they bought the rights to the Ali Strom books, all 3 of them, and sent a check. Not a big check. I don't really care about numbers, so that was $1,500. So it's not like humongous.
We love people who share numbers. We always share our numbers. Elena and I do. So share away. Do it.
And there's royalties. So in theory, if those actually do sell, that's $1,500 that would take children's books usually a long time to make, kind of. And then the royalties if that happens. So that was pretty cool. And then so I just thought that was like a one-off random, cool. But then I think it was like 6 months later, we had written the Minecraft books, and those were selling okay, not like as amazing as we kind of thought they would, because honestly, as far as Minecraft books are concerned, these are the best. They have the best writing, they have the best covers.
So my son has already read 2
We
of
have
them.
them.
Blade of the Sea is still his favorite, though, of the ones that he's read, and they're really good. They're really good. He's like laughing as he's holding them and reading them. He's sitting there going, I don't want to read the next part because I think that she's gonna fall off. And I'm like, oh, okay, like just take a break, take a minute. They're really good. They're good.
Yeah, thanks. So the reason that they're good is I partnered with P.T. Hilton, who is an amazing author. He writes these fantasy books called the Zane Holloway series. And they're like fun fantasy, like it doesn't take you a lot to get into. There's not like crazy world building, but it's still lots of fun and intrigue and awesomeness. So we partnered, and the way we did that, I can get into that too at the end of this brief story, I guess. But yeah, I'm happy to hear you say that. And everybody I know who's read them has been like, wow, these are awesome. And their kids are like loving them. It's just about discoverability, right? It's like, how do you get your books discovered? You know, you use keywords, you get good covers, you pay for advertising, but that's so hard with kids' books just because most of the people who look at advertising you're probably trying to target parents, but then they have multiple genres that they show interest in because they're also looking for themselves, all that stuff, right? So anyway, we're kind of feeling like, oh, maybe these aren't going to make as much money as we hoped they would. And then Hachette comes along, the sub-publisher of Hachette, and same idea, just randomly emailed me and was like, hey, we'd love to pick these up, do the big print run, big in my mind, 4,000 books each for 3 books. That's cool. And if they like it, then they'll get the next one. So yeah, that all blew my mind. We actually got a paycheck. So that one was like $8,000, which was cool for kids' books that don't tend to make a lot of money. And then also royalties. And that one, actually, the first one is only print, the one from Turkey. This one is print and ebook in all those countries that speak French. So it's like a few, I don't even know how many countries that is. So the royalties could actually add up to a lot in theory. Who knows what'll happen with that. But I think that's about that story, right? Yeah.
So can I just ask, I just want to go back a step. So when you get on Babble Cube, did you actually translate the books already through Babble Cube and have them for sale in those other countries?
No. Yeah. So what happens is the other person comes on board and auditions. They submit like their audition, like a page or a half a page or whatever. And then if you like it, what I do is I go onto Fiverr and I pay somebody $5 to look at that and see if it's good. Maybe 2 people, or maybe I'll look on LinkedIn because I went to the International Relations Master's program. So I have lots of connections in these other countries. So I'll just ask if somebody can take a look. And then you say yes, and they translate it, and then you hit publish, and it's kind of like publishing through draft to digital. It just like it goes out to all these channels, and then it's out there. And you can do promotions through them as well, like set up a 99-cent promotion or a free promotion, which is nice and convenient. But we just haven't figured out how to really market it right now. So I have one person who adapted Teddy Bears in Monsterland into Italian. And she actually set up a Facebook page for it and is doing a bunch of work because I think that's how they have to approach it. Is like, that's their novel in that country. I'm not gonna have any idea how to market a book in Italy, right? Yeah. Or whatever other country, but they might. So that one might actually have a chance of getting some sales versus these other ones. Who knows?
Yeah. Cool. I wonder, was that a part, not that it needs to have been, but was that a part of their auditioning for you? Did you ask them what kind of like social media outreach they do, or if they had a marketing plan, or was it mainly thinking about who would do the best translation, which is obviously like who can write well, right? Like that's also important. But
no, I think it'd probably be smart of people to try. I'm kind of leaning away from Babble Cube right now just because I'm starting to realize, wait a minute, I could just sit back and let other companies come to me and pay me more money than I would make on Babble Cube. So now I'm gonna sit back and see if that happens again. But that'd be smart to do. But I was more leaning towards the idea of it's just awesome to have my books translated into other languages at first. Especially the first guy that came to me, he wanted to do it in Russian. Turns out Babble Cube doesn't support Russian, but they let us do it anyway. It's this weird thing that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's probably not going to sell well because nobody knows what to do with it really. But that's all, neither here and there or there, whatever. But the point is that my wife is from Kyrgyzstan, so all her family speaks Russian as like their primary language. So that was one of our factors there. We're like, wow, all your little cousins are going to be able to read this book now. That's amazing. And the guy, his translation was like blowing their minds. They're like, wow, this is so good. Did you really write this? So you got to wonder, did he just make my book way better in the translation?
Yeah. Like, do I need to have someone translate it back into English so that I know what he did?
Exactly. So for all, like it could be really cool. You could become the next J.K. Rowling, specific only in Turkey or something like that. But you never know. It's more likely than not they're not going to get a lot of sales just because of the nature of how it works. And that's what I've heard from other people who've tried Babble Cube also. So I'd say if people are thinking about doing it, know what you're getting into and know that sales aren't necessarily going to be amazing.
Is the contract a long-term one like it is for if you were doing it through ACX? It's like a 7-year agreement. Is it a long agreement?
I never pay attention to these things. I'm bad at this.
My bad.
I didn't even know ACX had a contract until like 6 months ago. Yeah. Like I've been doing ACX for 2 years, and I never knew about the 7-year thing until I partnered with Andrew, and he's like, "Oh, but 7 years is a long time." I'm like, 7 years? I thought it was just forever.
He's like, no, 7 years. You got it.
So
You'll
now
get it
7
back
years is
eventually.
really short to me, right? Because it's like, wow, that compared to forever, that's pretty short. So yeah,
that statement is true. So how do you think that the foreign publishers would find you if you were not on Babble Cube? Like if you had it to do over again, would you skip Babble Cube?
No, I would definitely still do it. Like I said, what I would do and what I'm doing now actually is I'm taking certain series that I think might be less likely to get picked up. Like I love my teddy bear series, and some people love those covers. For some reason, I feel like I'm less impressed with them than some of my other stuff, even though I love them. So I'm going still with those on Babble Cube because and they're fun. Like little kids might just be like, "Oh, cool, teddy bears fighting monsters. I like that. Why not?" But I feel like it's less likely that a publisher will think that's a good idea. Maybe I'm totally wrong there. I don't know. But anyway, I'm taking some series and I'm going that route still, and other ones I'm keeping off. And I'm thinking that maybe they'll see it, click on it, look at my other series, and go, "Oh, he hasn't published those ones in our country. Let's see if he's open to selling those." But as far as like other avenues to get them out there, yeah, I don't know. Discoverability on the normal sense, right? Like, Ali Strom has been doing a little bit better because I finally revised the cover for the box set. So I have my first 3, and then I had just paid something on Fiverr to do like a 3D image of the box set using the book 3 cover, you know? So it still looked pretty much the exact same as book 3, except for that it was 3D and had the things on the side that said the 3 names of the different books. But since then, I've paid Yokley Designs, Clarissa Yao, to just do a whole new thing and make it much more like urban fantasy, a little bit older looking, so it could be almost YA. Figuring that the first 3 books could then target more of like the younger middle grade audience, and then the box set cover could target.
Yeah. So the covers. You go, Elena.
Quite distinct, aren't they? The covers, your old covers with your new covers. I almost thought it was I'm like, did he write a new series? Is this a new book I have to read? And then I realized that it was the same book. And I thought, so it's quite a distinct look. It's really, I love it. I love the new one. I like the old one too, but I know what you mean. The new branding is just almost a cross age group. Everyone wants to read it.
Thanks. Yeah, I think so. And the original ones I was going with more of like, I was trying to target the Harry Potter audience more, like where it's like young, kind of illustrated, fun. But in reality, like, right, thinking about the market, a lot of people who buy self-published books or indie books or who do Kindle Unlimited, you know, they like that older stuff. So like an adult who has taste for younger stuff is much more likely to pick up the new Ali Strom cover with like the realistic girl with the magic versus the illustrated cartoon looking ones, just because I don't know. As parents, I don't know how that works for picking out books for their kids, because, you know, like most people say, you walk into Barnes & Noble and they say, I want that, and you grab it off the shelves. But as far as Amazon purchasing for kids,
don't do that. No.
I don't know. Like,
really thinking about what I will pay money for my kids when it comes to But yeah, no, it does have a totally different feel. This is like a perfect opportunity for you to be able to do some testing to see, right? Like, what are people responding to more?
And so far it looks like they're responding more to it's a box set, so that of course makes it harder to tell, right?
Sure.
More value for the money, but so far they're clicking on that more, so that's exciting, and it makes me happy that I spent the money because it's already paid off. So, and then there's print books too, which is a whole nother thing, right? Talking about like children's print books, especially in the month of December. That was a smart move.
Print books are amazing.
Print books. And on the Minecraft ones especially, those ones did really well in December versus like the other ones. They did okay, but it's hard. It's always hard with children's books.
Yeah. So wait, I'll ask you and you can be like, I'm not going to tell you that on air. What is really good in December for Minecraft, for the Minecraft books?
Let me see if I remember. That'd be the hard part.
No, it's okay. If you can't remember, it's all good. It's good.
I think like they sold, for really good, when I say that, it doesn't mean like really good, like Michael Anderle numbers. It means really good for like compared to the other children's books numbers that I have my own children's books. So I think the Minecraft books sold like 300 print copies, which is kind of cool because usually like in a given month they'll sell like 10. So
okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, 300 was okay. And then there's the audiobooks too, which are now, we just got the audiobooks out for the Minecraft ones, and we've had the audiobooks for the other ones, and those are selling okay. Like book 1 has already sold 90 audiobooks, I think, in the month or so it's been up, which isn't like, you know, gonna make me millions of dollars, but it's nice that it's actually moving versus like some of my other ones might have sold like 5 copies, right?
Yeah, that's
awesome.
really good.
So going back to the foreign rights sales, like when a publisher picks them up, do they have like a contract on that? Like, do they say, hey, we're going to give it a go for a certain, or is it like literally the contract about the 4,000 books? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. Well,
and
it's funny.
Did you need a lawyer?
Company...
Did you need a lawyer? Did you actually need a lawyer to know whether, you know, how did you do that?
Yeah, I probably should always do the lawyer thing. I never do. I'm one of those horrible people that someday is going to be in real big trouble. But
you are not.
I hope not. Knock on some wood. Now, so the way that the Turkish company did it is they said, we want you to provide the contract. And that was another reason why some people I knew were like, oh, that's sketchy. Get away from it. But their argument was like, we don't want to give something to you and then you be worried about it. Like, we want you to come up with your terms. And if we agree to that, then we'll go forward. Or we can make some changes and check them out and go back and forth with each other. So I just found some generic contract and changed whatever I wanted in there. And I think they had a few comments when we went back and forth on it, which were like small little things, you know, like even if it was just a typo, or I think, and they had specified in the original email, like what they wanted, you know, like in generic terms, like we want the 3 books, we're willing to pay about this much. And we, and I might've negotiated that up a little bit too. I think I did. And then like for, royalties is what I negotiated up. I didn't negotiate the original price, but they were flexible on the royalties, which is cool. And then for the other one though, maybe they're more legit. I have any idea, but they came forward with the contract right away, and it was much more in depth and spelled out. And the one that we probably would love to have had a lawyer on, but you know, we're indies, we're poor, we gotta yeah. So our thought was,
and it's your first time.
Yeah,
it's your first one. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Our thought isn't like, oh, if it makes millions over there and we get screwed out of it, that sucks. Yeah. Our thought is, let's get some money, let's get some exposure. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to commit suicide if it becomes a $1 billion Harry Potter product and I get like 1,000. You know, I'm going to be like, wow, that's cool. Now I can do it with another series.
That's right.
Yeah.
Creator of the $1 billion new franchise.
You may can do it for you too. Such book
exactly.
Yeah. I'll take that. I don't
so
mind.
Are you still committed to like the writing the kids stuff, even though like, you know, it is so far harder to sell?
Yeah. So here's what I haven't told you guys, which is backing up to one of your earlier questions about all the books. It's good. I pause every once in a while to see if you're going to blink or nod, so I know you're not frozen. My internet. But so Ali Strom in those books, right? And Back by Sunrise, and even the werewolf ones that I'm doing now, which are Hounds of God, and the book 2 is Hounds of Light. It's called the Cursed Night series. They're all connected. Even my fantasy series, they're all connected. So how, you might ask? Basically what happens is Back by Sunrise, the little girl is the mom in Ali Strom. Ali Strom shows up in also my necromancy series. She kind of shows up as like a off in the background character that they're talking about, and she's fighting demons, and that's what that's kind of about, is fighting spirits and demons and stuff. And then in the Hounds of God books, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's read Hounds of God and hasn't read Hounds of Light, because that book's about to come out, but she's actually going to be a main character in those books, like where her and the werewolf chica partner and go kick some butt.
Very cool.
Fun. As an adult, though, not an adult, as like a 17 or 18-year-old.
Yeah, a young adult. Yeah.
Yeah, as a young adult. And then my werewolf character is in her mid to early 20s. So it's like a kind of a fun partnership where she's like, who's this kid? But in the Ali Strom books, she's like the 11th worthy. She's like super powerful, popular, you know, being that's going to kick butt. So when they partner up, there's this fun dynamic between the two of them. And she's kind of like, you're a werewolf, you're probably evil, but you know, they figure that out. And then in my fantasy books, I'll just spoil that one for you guys, because most listeners to this show are probably not into my big fantasy series. It turns out that there's this whole thing where they're actually in the afterlife, and that they can fight their way out of the afterlife and come to our world, where it then becomes kind of like an urban fantasy series type thing. And so that even is going to tie into all these other books. And in my Modern Necromancy series, when they go into the afterlife, they actually come across this land. So craziness. I know. It's all over the
That's
place.
awesome. So you're going to have like the world's most giant Kindle world at some point.
At some point when I finish it all. And how that all ties into your question is, yeah, when people start figuring out that they're connected and want to read the other ones, then I feel like more attention might go back towards the kids ones again, and then I'll start doing some more. So so I have the third book to do, and I have Back by Sunrise and its sequel, Dawn of Destiny, and then I could do a third one, but I don't have to. And same thing with the Ali Strom books. At the end of those, it's set up to where I could definitely do some more, or I could jump forward a couple years and start with her as a young adult, like more in her 15, 16, 17, somewhere on there. Or like I said, just keep it with where it goes in the werewolf stories. And like, you're like, okay, here's when she's 13 for 3 books. Oh, now she shows up in these books and she's 17. So I don't have to, but I feel like if there's ever a demand and enough audience, saying they want it, then sure.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
like a cool concept.
An awesome long-term marketing strategy. Like I feel like a lot of times I'm talking with people, and not that there's anything wrong with the strategy that I'm about to say, because it totally works, but where they're thinking literally one series or literally one concept, right? Like it'll be, I write the toothbrush books. Like that's me. My website is about toothbrushes, and and it's very, very specific. And that that's one strategy, but this is an entirely different one. And if it pays off, it sounds like it will really pay off really big. That's
hopefully
cool.
What I haven't figured out how to do is get the teddy bears in there yet. So I think I'm going to leave that one out. Somebody told me I should make it a cartoon series that my characters from the other book watch.
Okay, but that would be a stretch, and you would lose me there. Like, let that one go.
Yeah. Although I did mention it in my my Michael Anderle book, the Reclaiming Honor Vampire series.
Did you?
Yeah.
You worked that in there? That's awesome.
It's post-apocalyptic, and there's some pirates. And the only way that they know how to dress is that there was one old book called Teddy Bears in Monsterland that somebody found that had pirates in it.
Nice. Okay. And also like Also the titles for your books are you just have the best SEO for your titles. So you have a Christmas one of the Teddy Bears book. Is it Teddy Bears and Pirates at Christmas or something
Teddy
like
Bears
that?
and the Christmas Pirates.
And the Christmas Pirate. It's like, how could you make this more, like, I don't know if you could have made that any more SEO perfect. Do people find and pick that one up? That question was not meant to be. We'll just maybe pretend like that would never happen. Because if you're pausing a perfect thinker pose, though, something that was good.
Yeah. What I'm worried. Some people who, I'm sure you're going to edit this, I hope, but for people who are not watching the video part of it, and I'm always worried the video is going to pop back on right with me, like picking my nose or something. So I'm like very careful to keep my hands on the lap. Don't want to be, Yes. So the question was, about the teddy bears and the Christmas Pirates is the name of that one, and that's actually the one they find in that other series. Yeah, not the Monsterland one. But what was the question around that? Just.
Oh no, I was saying that has the best SEO ever. I'm wondering how does it work? Do people find it, or do you get a big boost at Christmas time on that one?
Well, so each of the Teddy Bears books has a theme for holidays. So Teddy Bears in Monsterland is actually a Thanksgiving book. The next one is a Halloween book, and then the Teddy Bears one is obviously a Christmas book. As one kid pointed out, that was stupid of me to not do the Halloween one and then the Thanksgiving one and then the Christmas one, because that's chronological. But whatever.
Yeah.
I have a year go by in between the two books, so
it's fine.
So they do get a little boost. I've noticed they get a boost, especially if I promote them that way around the season, which is cool. But have you used KDP Rocket at all? Are you guys familiar with that?
I am not.
Yeah.
Are you, Elena?
Cool.
I have it.
Yeah, Dave Chesson.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've been using it, and it's really cool. It's a way to search for people to know keywords. You basically put keywords in there. You can see how much people are searching for them, how competitive they are, how much money people who use those keywords make, kind of stuff like that. Pirates is a really crappy keyword, apparently. Like, I've tried all kinds of forms of pirate, and just people do not seem to be interested in pirate books as much as I thought they would be, because I love pirate stuff, It's like, it's where it is, but everybody else doesn't really care. It's like that movie Dracula Untold. It has a 25% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think it's one of the best movies ever. So there's just like this disconnect between smart people and everybody else.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
I'm not gonna go so far as to agree with that. I will say that, you know, as far as having eclectic taste, The Hobbit is my favorite of the books, not any one of the Lord of the Rings books.
How about
that tells about my
about the animated Hobbit movie? That's the best, right?
Oh wait, I didn't catch it. Say it again.
I said, how about the animated Hobbit movie? You know, from the
I do remember that.
Bass,
yes. Oh my gosh, I totally remember that. And I remember
I haven't seen that.
That's amazing. You've never okay, we're gonna movie night. I was gonna say virtual movie night.
You might not be into it as much as when you were a kid. I don't know, but for me, it's like I can watch that one over and over and over and over, and the songs are so good.
Yes, because yes, they are. Yeah. I'm so glad, like simpatico, like we're on the same page about that. This has been an amazing conversation. I have now, so I don't know if you know this about us, Justin, but Elena and I are not taking any of our interviews for granted. We are taking notes from them and are trying to incorporate the things that we're learning from everybody into our own strategies. And I have got several points from you that my future self, including this much broader marketing vision that you've gotten out there, and the main point that you were making around foreign sales, which is, I think, really cool. I might check out Babble Cube to see if I can also be accidentally discovered by some people who are out there. We'll see.
It's about making yourself visible, right? So as long as it's find whatever way you can to make yourself visible. I'd also add that we haven't really talked about is like my big strategy for this year was partnerships, and that has really paid off.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's like, how could I succeed in the children's or middle grade or whatever market, if you can find somebody who's really successful in that market and is open to collaborating, whether it's writing in their world or whatever, that could be a really good way to break out and get discovered. I don't know who that is. And, you know, in this world, it was Michael Anderle, and writing with him has opened up a lot of doors, and his audience is starting to cross over into my stuff as well. And that's been like a game changer, you know? So if there's ways to do that in other genres, and especially in the middle grade stuff, that'd be awesome. Figure out who that is. J.K. Rowling is open to it. So am I with her. I mean,
yeah,
so
I'm totally open to it. I think that I have dibs on her. Just if she's going to do it, but I will totally bring you in because you're cool. Yeah. Like I'll bring you in as like a secondary. That'll be the
That sounds good. I'll do that.
All right. So did you have any last bits, Elena?
Justin, I just wanted to touch upon just briefly, if it's possible. So when people join, say, like your mailing list, do you segment them based on what they've read or where they've come from? Or do you kind of have them as one big group?
Yeah, definitely segment. And also audiobooks, having your own audiobook. So we recently started a thing called Audiobook Access, which is pretty cool. So if you go to audiobookaccess.com, you can check it out. We had some books from mine and Marti's on there, and we put them up with, like, you can win our audiobooks plus Harry Potter, Wonder, and Percy Jackson. So it's kind of cool. And so it's just a way for people to promote their books and grow an audiobook mailing list. And then with my kids stuff, I use InstaFreebie. I put some books up there for kids and do some promotions. And so I have, you know, my kids list isn't humongous, and it's tough, right? Because it has to be the parents of the kids, because there's like a legal age. You can't have people on your mailing list or something. Is it 13 or I don't know what it is, but I think I have like 1,500 people on that, and same thing with the audio. But my normal list is like 12,000. So when you send a list to the 12,000, you get really cool results. And I can do it with the kid stuff, but of course the problem there is, you probably know, is the also bots. All of a sudden, my children's book, Back by Sunrise, is going to have all these vampire and werewolf books showing up in the also bots if I do it that. Yeah. So it's very smart, to segment or have a separate list for your kid stuff. It's just for that reason. Yeah. Actually, that happened with my literary novel, that woman's fiction book, the one I was telling you about from Central Asia. When I first published, I put pen name, but for some reason Amazon screwed it up, and they put my pen name and me. And so like all the also bots are all my fantasy and werewolf and other stuff. And
you're like, oh, that's wrong. That's not going to be helpful. I actually find that to be the case about the also bots, even when it is still in KidLit, because KidLit is a target age group, but it's not a target genre. So if there's somebody who's like writing ducky books, like you know, it's not the same as a fantasy adventure book. And so then sometimes those cross-contaminate, not in necessarily a good way for the future. But
Or if the parents are buying it for their kids and then they buy their own books too, I guess that would be a weird thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a question and it flew out of my brain.
Uh-oh.
There you go. I was like, I had a question. Oh yes, no, it's gone again. I don't know what's wrong. It's Saturday morning,
yes.
and my brain's like,
It's still pretty early in Australia right now for Elena.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
I love it. The answer is yes. That's awesome.
The best I could come up with. Better than no.
Okay.
Anything else we've forgotten? I think we've covered
no.
Good stuff. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff, and I'm sure that if you come up with your question that we can send it to Justin later on, and then have a really great excuse to have him back on the podcast if he is willing to hang out with us again at some point again in the future. So
and if anybody else has questions too, I'm happy to chat. I've gotten backed up on emails lately for the first time in my life. I think I'm usually really good at that, but now I'm like trying to write these at least one book a month of 60,000 words, if not more, while having kids and a job and all that other stuff. So it's like answering emails. I'm going to do it, but it takes like 2 or 3 days sometimes now.
Absolutely. I've been having to limit myself. Yeah.
Okay. I just say the Justin Sloan at
I remember
Justin Sloan author at gmail.com. So
Justin Sloan author at gmail.com.
Yeah. And same thing with the website. Justin Sloan author.com.
Justin Sloan author.com.
Yeah.
And I remember my question.
Oh, okay.
I have a brain. So, because this is I always ask this. You'll see me in forums constantly asking this. I ask it of everyone. It's like, are you in Kindle Select or are you wide? And what works best for kids' books in particular? Because I feel like people, will have an opinion about what works best. Like I hear it all the time for romance, but I feel like I can't get a definitive answer about whether being wide. Where is our audience? Are they wide or are they all on Kindle? I don't know. Right. What's your take on it? That's my final question, and then I'm over and out, promise.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Kindle Unlimited, Kindle Select loyalist, hardcore. I've gone both ways at certain times. I did like 6 months of the wide stuff. I think with kids stuff, it is less of a deal for multiple reasons. One, the kids' books are shorter. You do really good with Kindle Unlimited if your books are long, because you're not only getting rankings for whenever they download them, but also for whenever they read them. So you're showing up in the charts and then more people are buying them. But with kids' books, they're so short, it doesn't really help in the same way as much, right? There's the factor that I don't know, but I think a lot of people who are Kindle Unlimited subscribers are more.
Ooh. Paused. Oh, is he frozen?
He's frozen for me.
Definitely frozen, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh, there we go.
Come back.
There we go.
Sorry, it's gonna be so much edit.
Back.
My apologies on that.
I know. We lost you on people on Kindle Unlimited are more, and then we didn't hear the rest.
Oh, well, I was thinking more people on Kindle Unlimited are elderly, meaning I know a lot of people that I've talked to who are on our list and our Facebook pages and all that. They're in their hospital beds. They're sick. Maybe they're truckers who are like stopping on their truck breaks, whatnot, versus kids. But that said, my Minecraft books, my unofficial Minecraft books, because I've talked to a lot of parents who get Kindle Unlimited for their kids specifically for unofficial Minecraft books because they're so obsessed. And they're like, I'm not going to buy you another $3 book every freaking day. So they buy them the Kindle Unlimited for that reason. So I'd say if you're writing unofficial Minecraft, you definitely want Kindle Unlimited or books that you could cross market with those, and get in on that. But that I've also taken some of my books. I think the teddy bear ones, maybe. I don't know if I have them there right now. I actually forget. But like I've noticed they get way less Kindle Unlimited reads compared to other books, and sales are fine. But it's just like as a percentage, it's less. So I think it's fine to take a lot of those and try to go wide. I don't think they'll necessarily do great wide. I think it'll be maybe about the same as they would have done in Kindle Unlimited. But if you like have a target of going wide, then ones that won't be disadvantaged are good ones to go with, right? Versus if I take my books that I've done with Michael Anderle and took them wide, that'd be just stupid, shooting myself in the foot. Here's an example. 2 days ago, something messed up on Amazon, and our book was taken out of Kindle Unlimited for a day. it went from ranking 800 overall in the store to 2,800 almost in the store until they finally put it back up, and now it's back at like 1,000. Yeah, so it lost 2,000 in ranking. Isn't that crazy? In one day.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That rolling average, it's good for sticking, but it's not good for that one day when it was almost equal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why our books are scoring so well. Like he just released his new book, and it's at like number 55 in all of the Amazon store right now. And it's just like, woo, that's all Kindle Unlimited mostly. I mean, not all, but because of that, he's showing up in all these high rankings. If he was just going off of book sales alone, who knows? He still would probably be doing pretty good because people would have no choice but to buy them, but it definitely wouldn't be on the same level.
Yeah. That is very
terrific.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much. You've given us so much information, and having the comparison between some of the adult stuff versus some of the kids stuff, and just your wide breadth of experience. I know you're thinking, what, I've just started, but no, you've just done so much in such a short period of time. You're like on steroids. So it's inspirational, and really, we look to you. You're kind of a leader in our space. You might not see yourself that way, but we definitely see you that way. Whenever we see your name come up in any group, we're like, it's Justin.
That's so sweet.
I don't say that. I say, oh, it's Justin.
Yeah.
That's
we go way back. So. It's like when you see the celebrity who you always knew and didn't like that much, and then suddenly
like, oh, that dude? Oh.
No,
not you.
I don't think that well myself yet, because once my books are selling as well as Michael Anderle's, then I'm going to get a full head of myself, But
it'll be justified. It'll be totally earned. Okay. All right. So will you say one more time in case we were breaking up and I'm not able to, or I'm not going to do it, but our awesome audio engineer, Karen, is not able to edit together, where people should get in touch with you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So JustinSloan.author.com or at gmail.com or Twitter. I confuse people with this, but it's at Justin M. Sloan is my Twitter account. So feel free to connect on there as well. And Facebook is facebook.com/Justin Sloan author.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Justin. Hopefully we'll get to hang out again soon.
Yeah, good timing. My battery's at 1%.
All right, done.
Awesome.
Right, thanks, guys.
Done.
Thanks.